Good morning. I've somehow modified my topic. I've added the space science because NASSP also contributed to development of human resource in space science. I'm more of going to give you an accountability of what has happened in Uganda after the training we had in the NASSP. So you may not expect much science from my talk. Now, the first question is, how did it start? And maybe when did it start? It was in the year 2001 when the UNESCO sponsored a number of faculty members from different universities in Africa, particularly in the area of science, to South Africa to do some training, I think in a number of universities and also research institutions like SAO. And by that time, we had Simon Anguma, I think many of you know him, with a number of other students or lecturers. I think there was one from Zambia, according to what he told us, and also Ethiopia. So for them, they opted for astronomy, which they did with the Peter Martinez. I think by that time it was at SAO. So it was for about 6 months, and after the 6 months, when he went back home, I think he got so much enthusiastic about astronomy, and he became passionate about it, and he introduced it as one of the course units for first-year students under physics. And in addition to that, he also organized a number of outreach programs to different schools and formation of astronomy clubs where many people got interested. And his first topic was the birth and the death of a star, which really attracted many people. So people are wondering, can stars be born? Can stars die? You see, and also he also talked about the end of the Earth. And it really attracted a lot of interest. And of course, this created awareness among the students, which motivated them and interested them to do further studies in the astronomy. And of course, it also acted as a way of attracting students into sciences. Of course, you know that many students look at science as something which is difficult to do. So that was also another opportunity. Now, with all of that, there was need to start astronomy. And of course, at that time, the human resource to really develop astronomy was not there. And neither was there any university within the country that was offering astronomy. And of course, now the only way out was to seek postgraduate training outside the country. Now, in 2022, I think when the idea of NASSP being formed came up, and of course Simon was used to be continuously in touch with the Peter Martinez, and I think that was when he informed him about the possibility of starting the NASSP program. And of course, advising him to encourage students to apply. I think Martinez's focus was Simon applying, but I think since he already had his master's, was planning to do PhD, he could not apply at that time. And now that's when I got the information and then went through the application process. And I think it was either end of November or beginning of December that year when I got the acceptance letter from NASSP. So now, we were then the first set of students who started the honors program. The first set of students who started the honors program. I think we're about to 13 or so. 2 of us were outside South Africa. There's Webi from Zambia, and then I was from Uganda. Then the other students were from South Africa. Now, of course, being the firstborn, there's the way you treat firstborn. So we were treated like an egg, delicate, very, very delicate. And of course, because of that, we really had a lot of advantages, although there were also some challenges. I think our set is the one which had the largest number of course units. I think we had about 13 course units from I think about 4 departments, moving from physics, astronomy, mathematics, and the computer science. Now, the good thing is we had these well-trained lecturers, which really made the work a bit easier for us. And as much as people are complaining about the number of courses being taught, now to some of us, it was really an opportunity to learn, because we had the physics courses, we had the astronomy courses, all these ones had the opportunity to have all of them. And of course, time was another big factor because of the number of questions that we had to do, and there were assignments almost every week in all the courses being done at that time. And of course, we also had very good tutors. I think one of them is Gary Tapper for quantum mechanics. So I think he really helped us there. Of course, then after that, we proceeded into the MSc. Of course, also another concentrated one. We had 6 course units, and of course, still very good lecturers. Manfred was yesterday here teaching us plasma physics, you see. We had a number of these courses, and I think now, this time, really, time was not on our side. You see, we could spend, even at times, leave the computer lab past midnight, maybe 3 a.m., because of the huge work that we had to do. But I think, to me, all this was training to prepare us for the challenges that we face outside the school. Yeah, then after, of course, we had a course unit for 1 semester at the University of Cape Town. Then after that, students had to go to different universities, which were part of NASSP. And there were 2 of us. There's Elme, I think is in one of the universities in UK now. We went to University of Free State to work with Peter Menkes. I'm very grateful to Professor Peter Dansby. I think he really knew where I should go, and he really encouraged me to go in that direction, and I'm very, very grateful for that. You can see during my course, I met 3 Peters who contributed to what I am now. We started with Peter Martinez, then Peter Dansby, and Peter Menkes. So we went with Elme to Free State, and I think most likely we should have been the first to finish our master's program at Free State. Then after that, then PhD. And also, surprisingly, both of us, me and Elme, we got the Salt Stoby Scholarship. I think there's one for South Africans to go and study in the UK, then there was one for African students to study within Africa. So I got that scholarship to study in University of Free State, and the Elme got hers to go to study in the UK. I think that's when we now separated with her, and up to now we have not met physically. So that was in 2005. So I completed my PhD in 2008. Of course, there were some challenges in between, challenges with the supervision and so on, but I'm grateful to Phil Charles, who came in to stand with me. Now, after finishing, when I applied for NASSP, my motivation was to go and develop astronomy back home. I think that time when you're applying, they ask you, what is your motivation? So that was my motivation. Now, I stick that motivation. The opportunities for me to remain in South Africa, because as I was finishing, opportunities for postdoc and so on came, but now I said, what was my motivation? It was to go back and establish astronomy in Uganda. So, of course, now, at the beginning, there were challenges with the money. Of course, you remember the story of NASSP. When it started, there were a lot of financial challenges which came up. Yesterday, Peter was saying that even when they were inviting the students, the money was not yet there. So even as we were starting this thing, money was not there. And then the good news came in 2013 when we got some grant from CIDA through the International Science Program. And the purpose of that was to develop human resource in astrophysics and space science. So, of course, now, that meant that we needed to now develop a postgraduate program or curriculum which includes astrophysics and space science, because we are under the physics faculty and we offer degrees in physics. So we needed now to come up with courses in astronomy and space physics which can be included. Of course, now with the contacts we had in NASSP, it was easier for us to have consultations with the people from South Africa, and also in Sweden. Of course, Sweden, because of the funders were from there, so they're able to connect us to some universities in Sweden. And I think Patrick was helpful when we came to UCT. We met Patrick, we met Peter Dansby and some others, and also at the South African Astronomical Observatory. Now, in SANSA, Liano was very, very helpful to coordinate us with the scientists there. And of course, at the end of the day, we're able to come up with a curriculum which included some courses of astrophysics and the space science. Now, these are some of the courses that we're able to include in addition to the physics courses. And of course, now for PhD, it was by research. PhD was by research, so they didn't have courses that were taught for them. Now, of course, while all those ones were going on, I was still the only person available to teach. And given those number of courses, definitely, it's not possible that one person can teach them. And of course, by that time also, the human resource, by the time I went back, the human resource at the university was very, very thin. I think by the time I went back, I found 4 people, and I was the 5th. And by that time, I think I was the only one who had the PhD, and of course, more administrative responsibilities came up to develop the department. 5 people, of course, now postgraduates coming on, you have the undergraduates, so that was a huge responsibility. Now, given the inadequate human resource, now the most easiest way was to rely on the collaboration. Because during the survey, meeting these experts, we were able also to discuss possibilities of collaboration. And of course, mainly in South African universities and research institutions, and also there are some in Europe. And the purpose of this was to be able to help in teaching, organizing workshops, and also supervision of students. We also had to borrow a leave from NASSP, where we could have these compact courses like Michel talked about. And of course, later on, some of these students who completed from NASSP were able to go back. We have Mtabazi, Oruru Bosco. I think most of you know Oruru Bosco. Elizabeth just went recently. Then Patrick Oyiro started from Northwest University, has gone back. Baluku was in Kenya, he has now come back. Then Emrant, for those of you who know him, he only did his master's. So he went back and did PhD with us. Of course, a number of collaborations I already talked about. I think our first person who visited us was Petri. The first person who visited to teach was Petri, and did very, very commendable work, and that also encouraged many more students to join. And of course, now we have space physics also, where we had a number of collaborators. Now this is one of the trainings that the students had, which was conducted by Don Katz. And I think that time the students enjoyed his lectures, and also he enjoyed Uganda. He had to spend most of his weekends in the parks. Of course, now also the issue of the girl child also tried to motivate the female students to pursue further studies as well. Now we have a number of achievements. We have a number of publications, of course, in the good journals. Now we have produced a number of students. Now, Mbarara, where I am alone, we have so far produced 12 PhD students. These ones have already graduated. All of them have faculty positions. 10 of them started from masters. And out of this, unfortunately, we only have 2 ladies, and there are 10 boys. Now, MSc, there are over 36. Now, we also had the financial support from CIDA, where we formed a network, the East African Astronomical Research Network, comprising of Uganda, Rwanda, and Ethiopia. So now we were able to train some students from Rwanda and Ethiopia. Of course, these students they were of good quality. They were able to compete. And I think Antoine, who is now doing his postdoc with the Petro, is one of the students that we trained. And I think he's doing very well. Some of them were able to go to Italy, Spain, Germany, Portugal to do their PhD. Some of these MSc students, they were able to go and do that. Now, Makerere has trained so far 3 PhDs and 12 MScs. Busitema started recently, and they have trained about 2 MSc students. Now, you can see that all these ones, all our PhDs, now at the beginning, the question was, now these students you are training, where are they going to find jobs? I think the same question they asked about NASSP. But now all these students have positions in the universities. Now this has resulted in increase in the human resource that was lacking at the beginning. Now of these students, we admitted 4, Busitema has admitted 3. Of course, now this including the students trained by Makerere. Then a new university where Simon is now the vice chancellor has taken 3 of our students. Now in Kabul University, 1 of our PhD students taken, then another MSc student has been taken as a teaching assistant. Then we have Mountains of the Moon. They have 2 of our students who have been taken there, and one of the students who trained is also admitted in the Makerere. So now you can see that now we have increased human resource. From 1 person, now we have 14 people with the PhDs. This is what we trained there, and also the ones who studied through the NASSP program, and have 8 PhDs in space physics. Now, these ones are all employed in the universities. Of course, now, because of this impact, now there has been introduction of some elements of astronomy in the lower secondary school curriculum, because they have now seen the need to develop that further. And of course, there's also a presidential initiative to develop a national space program. Of course, now, things to do with the politics at times may not move the way that you want. I think it's now more than 12 years that it has somehow stagnated. And of course, now, a number of universities are now coming up with the plans to introduce astrophysics and space science. Now, of course, now we have Makerere, we have Mbarara, we have Busitema. Now, the others already developing curriculum. And of course, now our collaboration has also increased. We have installed some receivers. Now, the recent one was from SANSA. Our collaboration with SANSA is getting stronger. So recently, they installed a scintillation and the tech receiver, which is running. And of course, now hosting training workshops, international training workshops. We are also now able to do it. And the recent one was done last year in one of the universities. Now, acknowledgement, we really very grateful to NASSP. I think NASSP has been, I don't know, maybe say an eye-opener for the entire Africa. I think a number of African students have been trained through the NASSP program. Now, I'm sure if most of them had gone back Now I think Africa will have really moved so far with the astronomy. Of course, now the financial support is very, very important. Then, of course, the university and so on. Then the organizers of the symposium. I'm really, really, really very grateful. Patricia, Nazil, Rose, they did fantastic well. Now, when there's an issue, you write to them, it's like as if you are writing, they're also reading. By the time you finish writing, you get the response. So, amazing work. And I think it's not only, this is what I've seen when I came for the NASSP program. The entire SAO, whenever the issues there, you just feel relaxed. And when we were in NASSP, as much as people were complaining, for me I was relaxed because things were moving on. So I'm really, really very grateful. And at least my dream has come to pass. Thank you.